we are definitely switching to Wyze cameras. Maybe even something better in the future, because yeah, we are in the market for something better, if there is something better. But out of these three, Ring, Wyze, and Moultrie Mobile, I think Wyze is the best. However, you gotta have internet, and you gotta have electricity. Otherwise, well, I don't know. You might be able to set up a Wyze camera with a cell phone and a solar panel to keep the cell phone charged. But you gotta basically be able to keep the cell phone charged in order to use the Wyze cameras off the Wi-Fi of the cell phone. So, because basically that's what I'm using at my Kaplinger property, is a cell phone internet for the Wyze cameras at my Kaplinger property. And so they're just connected to the Wi-Fi hotspot on the phone. I just basically pay for internet on the phone because it's cheaper than any other internet. $25 a month for unlimited internet with Visible. So I have a Visible phone at my Kaplinger property, and basically that's my internet for my cameras, and it works great. And I'm thinking about doing that on the land, but I'm not 100% sure if I can keep the phone charged. I also need a good security box to put the phone in. And the batteries, for that matter, and the whole kit and caboodle. So I haven't got that far. So right now I'm just using Moultrie Mobile on the 15 acres. But I'm having problems, major problems with the neighbors. And they're basically forcing me out, causing me so many problems. And it's just too much for me to be able to handle, because I'm not home all the time. I'm a truck driver. And they're not just causing problems for me, they're causing problems for everybody at least two other of the neighbors, because they're basically trying to push us out because they want our property. And they're trying to lowball us, at least me anyways, trying to lowball me to get my property for pennies on the dollar. Well, they're not getting my property, but they are being successful as far as pushing me out. I'm liquidating. I have no choice but to liquidate all my animals. They're tampering with my fencing. They're threatening to steal and kill my animals. Well, the trick is they're tampering with the fencing so the animals get out, and then they're like, oh, they're on my property and I have the right to do whatever I want with them. But yet, their dog's coming to our property and killing our livestock, but yet we're not allowed to kill their dog or they're going to sue me. It's like they're creating all these problems, and my girlfriend, she can't handle it. She's like a guinea fowl. She just flips out. And I can handle it better than she can, but it's just getting to be too much. So I'm liquidating. We just closed on the property in Collins. Now we just got to get the mobile home out of foreclosure. So it's all downhill. Problem is I don't have proper fencing at Collins, so I can't just move my animals to Collins. I was going to keep them in Stockton until I got proper fencing at Collins, but that's going to take a while. But because of all the problems, I'm forced to basically liquidate, because they're going to kill or steal my animals anyways. They're tampering with the fencing, and I'm going to lose my animals anyway, so I might as well just sell off what I can, or whatever. I'm going to keep a couple. I just purchased some GPS shock collars, and I'm going to try them out on a few sheep and goats, and we're going to see how they work. If they don't work on the sheep and goats, I think they'll work on the sheep better than the goats, obviously. But if they don't work, then I'm taking them to auction as well. I don't have a choice. And we rehomed 2 of the pigs. We're keeping, well, we sold a couple. We're keeping 2. And we rehomed 2. And we may or may not be selling or rehoming Kevin. Kevin's our oldest. He's our boar pig. We rehomed Sally. She's the female. We rehomed the daughter, which we was actually going to breed Kevin to later when she got older. But now we're not breeding pigs anymore. Yeah. So, and I'm not going to be breeding sheep and goats on a larger scale. I didn't want to go big. I just wanted to go medium. But now I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to go in a different direction. So, in a way, it's going to save me money. So, it's going to save me money, and this new direction's actually already making me more money. I just love the animals, so I was going to keep the animals. More like a side hustle and a tax deduction, and just something that I love to do. But I really kind of can't do that anymore. So I'm just keeping a few to produce food for the family. And if that doesn't work, I have a new connection, a new associate who raises almost exactly the same livestock that I was raising. So I'll just buy a couple head from him, weathered or unweathered, and I can weather them myself. Raise them to the right age, use the GPS shock collars if necessary, and if they work, and then take them to the market. But with the younger ones, the GPS shock collars should work better than the older ones. The older ones have more thick skin than the younger ones do, so the shock collars will most likely work better for the younger ones. And by the time they reach about a year, I'll be taking them to the butcher. So I think the shock collars will work better on them. Anyway, so yeah. And then, yeah, I'm just going to liquidate everything on, or whatever I don't take to the new property from the old property, I'm just going to liquidate it. So, yeah. I mean, some stuff I might take to Kaplinger, but probably not. So, anyhow, so the Ring cameras, I had a couple at Kaplinger and a few at Collins, but the Kaplinger ones, I was having problems with them, and 2 of the ones at Collins I'm having problems with. Basically, the problem with the Ring cameras are they can't be exposed to the weather. They can be outside, but they have to be underneath like an awning or some kind of soffit or whatever. They have to be underneath something to protect it from the weather. The ones that were more exposed to the weather, they don't work. But the ones that were undercover, they work. So Ring cameras are great in that aspect. But if we're out in the bush or, whatever, if they don't have any cover, they won't work, because as you can see, my cameras are jacked up. So the Kaplinger camera, I've already replaced it. I have a Ring camera there now. This front porch one, it's behind the screen door, so the wind must have caught it and knocked it, and now it's all like weird. Oh, it totally got knocked off the mount. So it's laying in the dog bedding. So yeah, and it thinks that Vinny is a person, but Vinny is a dog. Anyhow, so I have that one muted because it goes off all the freaking time, but Laura monitors that one. And I don't know, it must have failed, just recently failed, because she hasn't said anything about it. She hasn't done anything about it. So, anyways, this one works great. It is up underneath the faucet of the food shed. I think it's called a faucet. Basically, the overhang. So the only part of it that is exposed to the weather is the front. Everything else is pretty much protected from the weather. And the main thing you want to protect from the weather is the plug. That plug, if it gets water in it, then it gets all kinds of jacked up and then it don't work. So that's the biggest problem with the Ring cameras. And that's why I don't like the Ring cameras. So, that being said, the Wyze cameras, they're more waterproof, water resistant. They seem to work a lot better. Before, Wyze was more of a camera that you could or would put in a building or on a building, pretty much, you know, someplace that you have electricity. They didn't have any solar powered outdoor cameras that you could just put on a tree or whatever. You had to have some sort of power source. So you had to be able to run, you know, power to the camera. But recently they came out with the solar powered cameras. So we're going to be buying a shit ton of those. And I have 2 so far. My brother just ordered 2. He's not put them up yet, I don't think. But I love these 2 cameras. They're amazing. So I don't know if I can. I'm still learning their system. Okay, we're live. So basically I'm recording live. I don't know if it's actually recording, but I'm monitoring live now. And let me see if I can do this. There we go. So you could put this on a tablet. Or even some kind of monitor and have it record like this. Now the cool thing about this camera is it is an oscillating camera as well. I love these cameras. So I had a guy renting my Kaplinger property. He is currently going somewhere else so he can save money to buy his own property. So, but he's gonna come back and basically help me fix up Kaplinger and make it more of a rental potential property. And I'm thinking about taking out the camper spot where the camper is now, the camper hookup, and moving a mobile home in there, and then moving that camper hookup somewhere else, because we're talking about putting camper hookups at Collins as well for like friends and family who want to come and visit. So the camper hookup for her camper currently, well, all right, let me rephrase that. So her camper is at Kaplinger right now, but we're about to move it to Collins. And I just got to take out a couple trees that had caught fire. I don't know if the people before us were cooking meth or what they were doing. We understand they had a drug problem, and we think that that's possibly what happened, because they had this big fire and explosion. in a camper that they were living in. Not the parents, but the kid or the nephew. So they had a big explosion and a fire down there, and they burned part of a few trees down there. So I want to take those trees out before moving her camper over there. And basically we're going to put the camper hookup on the power pole, because the power pole is basically right there. And then maybe later we'll run some more camper hookups somewhere, and then I'll move the power box that this camper is hooked up to now over there. And then I'll basically put a mobile home where that camper is right now and make it basically permanent. And then where the boat is, or just this side of the boat, will be another camper hookup. So basically Josh was there earlier getting his trailer out of there. See where that trailer is? You can see it there at the top once he opens the gates and walks in, because the camera's going to follow him. So once he gets that, so where that trailer is now is another camper hookup. So and septic dump and the whole 9 yards. And then where the boat is like a little picnic area between the two camper spots where people can chill. So I'm going to leave that camper hookup spot there. And then where her camper is currently, where we were living before we got the Collins property, I'm going to move a mobile home in there and make like a permanent rental spot. And then basically I'll be renting out Caplinger. And but I'm still working on cleaning it up and fixing it up. The place was a dump when I bought it in 2020, and I've been slowly cleaning it up. And the house that was where the boat and the RV is right now, the house that was there had gotten arsoned before I bought it. So, you know, I just basically had been slowly cleaning it up for the past 5 years. And the last 2 years, we were really kind of hardcore fixing it up, putting in the camper hookups, bringing in gravel, just taking all the garbage that was at Caplinger over to my 15 acres. And a lot of it was reusable, so I reused it and repurposed it. Like all the roofing that was on the old house that got arsoned, I'm using it for siding for my chicken coop and my goat house. My 2-story goat house and my chicken coop I used the roofing from the old house as siding for those 2 buildings. And it worked out great. So, yeah. And, you know, there wasn't a whole lot I could salvage. Like the foundation, and, you know, it was basically rock and mortar. So it's all over there in a big pile, and the goats use it to climb on and jump on and all that stuff. But, you know, I'm not going to have goats over there anymore, so it's kind of pointless. So I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do with that, but I'm basically just cleaning up the place and liquidating everything. And I don't know, maybe I'll just either have somebody haul it off, or I'll get a bulldozer or something and push all that crap to the back. I got a big mound back there by the pond, and I'll probably just push it all back there to the pond. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm just cleaning up and liquidating pretty much everything on the 15 acres and moving everything to Collins. But I'm definitely not selling to these loser assholes that are basically pushing me out. You know, they think they're going to win and they're going to get my property. They're the last people I'm going to sell the property to. And if I sell it to them, they're going to pay 2, 3, 4 times what it's worth, because I'm not going to sell it to them. They want me to sell it to them for like $2,000 an acre, and it's worth $8,000 an acre. I mean, technically, I would say that it's probably only worth a few thousand, but the market says it's worth 8,000. So I'm going with the market. You know, if I was to buy it, yeah, I would want to buy it for less too. But I'm not going to bully somebody, harass somebody, and jack with somebody to get that lower price. I'm going to do it honestly. You know, that's like we got a good deal on Collins, but we did it honestly. We went in and we tried to honor our contract to the T as best that we could. And the people we were buying the property from were the ones who didn't honor their own contract and was screwing us over. So we ended up getting a better deal because they screwed up. So, yeah. But yeah, I like how the camera follows the people. And that's the other thing, too. You could program it to follow people. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's probably... He likes dogs, and Josh has a dog there, which is actually going to be our dog in the future. But, in the near future. But she's a livestock guardian dog. Josh had animals there. And he had like his own little mini farmstead or whatever going on there. And so he had a livestock guardian dog there as well. And... so we're going to move. She's great with birds. She'll protect the birds. So we're going to move her to Collins and have her protect Laura's birds over there. Anyway, yeah, I love how the camera just, you know, follows everything everybody's doing. Here we go. So yeah, these new Wise cameras are freaking amazing. So yeah, you can have them. I got these ones programmed to only videotape and track people. Oh, and packages. So if for some reason the video doesn't pick up that the person is a person, because sometimes, you know, the AI doesn't do their job right. So I got it to also pick up packages. So if the person is carrying a package and the AI doesn't pick up the person, it'll pick up the package. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, he still has some animals there. We bought some of the turkeys off of him, and then the neighbor's dogs killed 2 of the turkeys. And they don't want to take accountability for their dog killing our animals. It's like my goats got out and they raised the fuss. Well, at first they didn't raise a fuss. They're like, oh, it's no problem. They even laughed that one of our goats came to their wedding. And but it wasn't until October, and it just happened to be the very day that we were having our celebration party, our victory party of winning against these other people at Collins in court. So we had won all of our court battles for the land. Anyways, we're still working on a mobile home, but we won all of our court battles for the land. And so we were having our victory party, and that very day, it's just the worst luck in the world. That very day, apparently the goats got out and got in the neighbor's shop. And the neighbor ran them out, and they made a mess. Now, he didn't say that at the beginning of October when it happened. In fact, I don't even remember if he even said anything at all. His friend said something to me about it. He just said, they're out, and we're going to run them back in. That's all he said. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. You know, I'll get over there, and I'll figure something out. Problem was, I had fencing on the north side, I had fencing on the south side, I had fencing on the west side, but I did not have fencing on the east side. And I was working on it. I had already cleared the fence line once. And David Ray was supposed to put the fence up, but he never did. I paid him to do it, but he never did it. So I ended up having to go back and clear the fence line again. David Ray and I actually cleared it the first time together, and then he was supposed to put the fence up, but he never did. So I had to go back later and clear it again to put the fence up. I just hadn't got around to it yet because I had all these other priorities that were getting in the way. And then we had the problem with Collins and the lawsuits and the foreclosures and all this other stuff. I had all these other problems getting in the way. I just hadn't got the fence up fast enough. And so, but I was working on it. But anyways, I guess at the beginning of October, when we had our celebration party, the goats got out. Apparently, supposedly, I don't have any proof. The guy claims he sent me proof, but he never did. But anyways, apparently they got into his shop. They made a mess. Knocked tools on the ground or the floor and stuff like that. And the way this guy's nature is and attitude, I mean, he's like a hothead. So he probably was like aggressive towards them and scared them. If he wasn't, of course, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know how he acted. But I'm assuming that that's how he acted, because that's how he acts normally. That's his normal behavior. So if that's the way he acted with them, then they would have made more of a mess, because they would have been scared and they would have been jumping all over the place. But anyways, I don't know. I wasn't there. He never provided any proof, any evidence. It's all hearsay evidence. And he never said anything about it. I found out, well, about 2 weeks later, he started cussing me out because the other neighbor, his friend, his pygmy started coming over. And I thought, nobody educated me. The neighbors didn't educate me of what was going on. I thought the pygmy was coming over and they were following him back home. I didn't know what was going on, right? So, but apparently they was going over there all the time. But they weren't telling me they were going over there all the time. I had an automatic feeder on the land. I thought the automatic feeder was working at keeping them on the land, because I had not seen any evidence of them being out. I mean, I knew they could get out on the east side because I hadn't got the fence line done yet. But the automatic feeder kept them on the land more. Maybe not enough, but more. Every time Laura went over there, except for 2 or 3 times, they were always on the land. So she always thought it was working. I always thought it was working, but apparently it wasn't. So, there was one time they got onto the south side and I had to walk them, and they were stuck over there for a couple days till I got home. And I had to walk them around and get them back on the land. But that was only one time. And then I guess there was another time they were stuck on the north. 2 other times they were stuck on the north property, or the north neighbor's property. And they couldn't figure out how to get back home. That was only 3 times that I know of. And then, of course, there was the shop issue that I found out about 2 weeks after it actually happened. But anyway, so the guy was cussing me out, blah, blah, blah. And he still never mentioned the shop. I found out about the shop issue from his friend, the other neighbor. So it's like, he didn't even say anything about it until after I heard it from his friend, and then I brought it up to him. And then he cussed me out about that too. And it's like, just tell me there's a problem when there's a problem without screaming and cussing at me. And I'll try to address it, but they never made it out to be that it was a problem until after the fact. But anyways, like I said, I thought it was the pygmy that was encouraging them to go over there. apparently they were going over there more than I thought they were. And so then when I said something about the pygmy, that's when he started cussing me out. And he started calling me some kind of loser. And I don't remember all the names he called. I didn't even read all of the text in detail. I just kind of skimmed it because half of it was all cuss words and shit. So anyways, so I got my brother and Josh basically came out and helped me put the fence up. We didn't have a fence stretcher though. So his friend, the other neighbor, the one that told me about the shop incident, he's a fencing guy. And actually, he told me prior that he was going to help me with the fence, but he never did. So, and I believe I got that in writing. But anyhow, he never helped me with the fence. And that's another reason why the fence wasn't expedited, because I didn't have any help. And I didn't have a fence stretcher. He had the tools. He had the experience. I didn't. I had a little bit of experience. But between my brother, my friend Josh, and borrowing the other neighbors, the east neighbors' fence stretcher, we was able to get the fence up in one day. Well, I had to go out and finish clearing. I had already cleared half of the fence line already. I just hadn't got the rest of it finished yet. So we went and we finished clearing the rest of the fence line. And then the next day we ended up putting up the fence. And it's not perfect, but it's working. But anyways, then, of course, ever since the east neighbor moved in, we had a problem with our livestock getting killed. Now, we didn't know what kind of predator it was. We just knew it was some sort of predator. Now, when I've lost my first baby lamb, I tracked the blood back to the east neighbor's property. I didn't know if it was a dog, a coyote, but it was dog footprints in the snow. So I knew it was a dog or a canine, but I didn't know if it was his dog, another neighbor's dog, or a coyote. Or, no, it couldn't have been a fox. They're too small. So, but we pretty much lost all of our sheep, and I got video evidence of that. I lost all my sheep except for one. My lambs, I should say. Lost all my lambs, boys and girls, except for one, Pete. And the only reason we didn't lose Pete is because we took him and Ginger, his mother, to Kaplinger and put him over there in the fenced-in area, and that's the only way we was able to save Pete's life. We got him off the 15 acres. We haven't had any baby goats born since last winter. No, I'm sorry. We had a couple born that I know of, but they disappeared too. Predators came and got all my baby goats over the summer, all my baby lambs, except for Pete. So, we just had a baby goat born. I'm hoping she's still alive. She was alive last time I was home. The only reason why she's still alive is probably because we got a llama now. And I had her and Darlene. Did I say lamb? Baby goat. I had the llama, Darlene, and Samantha locked up in the goat yard. One of the goat yards. So the llama was able to protect Samantha from the predator, whether it was the dogs, the coyotes, bobcat, whatever it was that was taking all of my livestock. I had the llama at least protect Samantha. So Samantha's still alive as far as I know. Um, anyway, last time I checked. So I got these trail cams at Stockton. I have one at Collins, but mostly I have them at Stockton. The funny thing is the neighbors think I have like a dozen or more cameras over there, but I really only have 2. I have 4, but only 2 are functioning right now, which is not good. But I moved one to the greenhouse for because I found feathers in the greenhouse, and I was thinking that whatever the predator was, it was taking it into the greenhouse. So I have a camera in the greenhouse, but I didn't pick up anything except for cats, goats, 1 raccoon, and 1 possum. So, and then after that, my memory was full for the month. I'm only paying for like 1,000 pictures a month, I think it is. Something like that. So, so I'd already taken all the pictures for the month, because before I moved it into the greenhouse, I had it up front watching the driveway, because I basically had 2 driveway cameras from 2 different angles. And I'm starting to lose my train of thought. Well, anyways, the llama, the sheep, the goats, they were up there a lot, and so the camera was going off a lot, taking a butt ton of pictures. And this is one of the new cameras you can see right here. Oh, that was me up there burning stuff. So I've been slowly cleaning up the land too. I had a sustainable community over there, and it turned out to be a disaster. Bad idea. But but anyways, this camera, I was up there basically burning some garbage and whatnot, just cleaning up as best I can. I only got a couple days a week to do everything that I need to do, and I'm just overwhelmed. I got too much on my plate, and I need to downsize. And there's this phrase that I heard. It says, when everything is a mess, just remember that your new life is going to cost you your old one. So even though this is a disaster, the situation I'm going through is a disaster right now, I'm trying to remember that my new life, this new direction that I'm either going or need to go or whatever, is going to cost me the old one. I started learning and figuring out what direction I'm going a few years ago. Basically when the sustainable community was failing, and I was giving up on that, I started going a different direction. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago that I really figured out, not 100%, but I really started figuring out how to make this other stuff work, like my dividend stocks and whatnot. So, now it's like I'm rocking and rolling. And so I've been working on just kind of liquidating my IT business and other things that aren't making me money, or aren't making me very much money, you know, costing me more than it's making me, or not making me enough to cover my costs, my other costs. So I'm liquidating my IT business, letting go of domain names that I think nobody will want, that that are important to me, but nobody else would give a crap about. If they're not important to me enough anymore to keep, I'm just letting them go. And then the ones that I think might be more valuable, then I'm moving them over to another server where I'm listing them for sale, and I'm just liquidating them. And then I'm moving all the money into dividend stocks. I wanted to keep the farm because I love the animals. I enjoy the animals. But with this new situation, with these new neighbors, with the situation I'm dealing with them, and it really didn't start to get hostile until recently, the end of October. It started to get hostile towards the end of October, and then it got quiet. Once I fixed the fence, the goats weren't getting out anymore. We weren't having any problems. It was quiet. But then Laura came over to the land and caught their dog. We didn't know it was their dog at the time, but she caught their dogs. There's two of them. One ran off. It was smart. The other one was dumb. It stuck around. It was still chasing and trying to kill more birds. But she caught them red-handed. She didn't get enough of the stuff on video and pictures that we probably need for court, but she got almost enough. She maybe got enough, but there was more that she missed because she was flipping out. She wasn't ready. She didn't get the phone out in time to document the evidence. She was busy yelling and screaming and flipping out about the situation. And so she did get her phone out eventually, started taking pictures, started doing video, but she didn't get the worst of it, if that makes sense. She didn't get the worst of the situation on video or picture, but she did get some of it. But she caught them red-handed, if you will, attacking and killing the birds. So we don't know that the dogs are responsible 100% for killing all of the livestock that died or that got killed. But we know that they are at least partly responsible because we caught them. And then, of course, we didn't know who the owner was. And I was just like, shoot the dog. The other one was smart. It got away. But the stupid one, I was like, kill it. But she's all like, oh, I don't want to kill it, because she loves animals. So I love animals too, but, you got to treat a predator like a predator. Whether it's somebody's pet or not, it's a predator. And it's killing your livestock, and you have to kill it, or it's going to keep coming back and killing more of your livestock. So she didn't know who the owner of the dog was. She wanted to post it on Facebook because a friend of hers told her, put it on Facebook. Oh yeah, that's a bright idea. So she put it on Facebook, and nobody knew who the owner was. She went to one of the neighbors, and neighbors thought it was a stray. Oh, I did get it on the trail cam. Let me go back. Let's see if I can pick a date. It was the 20th, 12/20/25. Smart tags, date range. Here we go. We'll do 12/19 to 12/21. I believe the date was 12/20. Save. I'll say 12. I'll go, no. 2025 12:20. So I actually have on the trail cam the dog on the property. Now I didn't see before. I didn't see the dog on the camera on the trail cam attacking the birds, but Laura got the dog attacking the birds on her phone. She took pictures and did a recording. Now she didn't get a recording of the dog killing anything. She just got a recording and pictures of the dog trying to kill the birds. Alright, so let's go here. Okay, that's 12:21. So it'll be oldest down here. Okay. So this is after I moved this camera into the greenhouse. So this is the one back by the coop. There's cats in the greenhouse. There's the turkey. We thought he was a wild turkey, but come to find out, he's not a wild turkey. One of our south neighbor, it belongs to one of our south neighbors. So when Laura was down there talking to the south neighbor, asking them about the dogs, they thought the dogs was a stray, or were stray dogs, that somebody dumped them off, and they're just running around loose, wild. And that's another reason why she went to Facebook about it, because she didn't know who the owners were. While she was talking to the south neighbors, she found out that this turkey belonged to them, and it basically ran away. And it adopted us. Here he is. We thought he was wild. Come to find out, he's not a wild turkey. He belonged to the south neighbor. Goats. Bane of my existence. No. I love the goats. They can be a pain in the ass. I get that. But I still love them. There's Bucky. So anyway, she went to Facebook. She didn't know whose dog it was. Well, or dogs, plural. So I made the mistake, after she put it on Facebook, I made the mistake of texting the neighbor, the halfway decent. I wouldn't call him decent. I used to think he was the good one. Out of the two friends, he's the more docile, more reasonable one. I wouldn't call him reasonable, but I would say he's more reasonable than the other one. The other one's like a flying monkey. He's like a narcissist. They both might be narcissists. I don't know. But the other one, he's fucking nuts. Alright, so what date is this? Oh, 20. Okay. So this is one of the new turkeys that I brought to the land. I bought from Josh. This one here, I think, is the only one that survived. I had 3 females over there that I had bought from Josh. Alright, so there's Laura on the land. There's the sheep. There's the guineas. There's Laura. There's the pig. Cats. Probably that's the cat looking at the camera. Who knows? That's the dumb dog. The white dog ran away. This is the other dog. This is the one that she caught on camera chasing and trying to kill the birds. Here she is on the phone with me, probably flipping out. There's the dog again. There's the dog again. Cats. That's Candy. So I have to go. Okay. She left for some reason and came back. Oh, okay. This is when Josh got there. So Josh was going to shoot the dog, but Laura talked him out of it, and he fired a shot in the ground and spared the dog's life. So the neighbors threatened to sue me, and now they're having a holy shit fit because we was going to kill the dog. We didn't. And then after he threatened to sue me, of course I took screenshots and put it on Facebook, and then they really lost their shit about that. You know, I'm just documenting the evidence, you know, it's like, whatever. So, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to document the evidence. I guess that's the only pictures I have of the dog on the property, on the trail cams, for that day. I'll have to go back and look and see if I can see the dogs on there any other time. We hadn't seen any predators on the trail cams before, or even on the land at all, until this day. But, so we didn't know what was killing them. We knew something was killing them, but we didn't know what it was. It still could have been coyotes. It still could have been bobcats. It still could have been people. And it could have been these dogs. Or all of the above. But all we know is on this date, we got the dogs on camera. We got one dog on camera. That we got him on the trail cams, this one trail cam, and Laura videotaped and took pictures of the dog attacking the birds. He didn't kill any on video or on picture, but she caught him trying to. And when she got there, I don't remember the details, but when she got there, they had just killed some, and she took pictures of that, but she didn't catch them in the act on camera, if that makes sense. But we do have evidence that they are at least part of the problem. So we tried to address that with the neighbors, and they don't want to take accountability for the problem. What they want to do is bully, threaten, and harass us more than they were before. And they've already said that they want my land. They want to buy my land, but they only want to offer me like $2,000 an acre. Well, the one neighbor to the north only wants to offer me $2,000 an acre. The one to the east said he's willing to pay $4,000 an acre. But the land is worth $8,000 an acre. So I'm not selling it for anything less than $8,000 an acre. That's it. You know, I'll sit and wait. I'll sit and wait for somebody who's coming out from California or whatever, and who has deep pockets, who wants my property, or somebody who might want to build a subdivision or whatever. You know, I'll hold out. You know, once I get my animals and my stuff off the property, I can sit on it. I don't give a fuck. So they can kiss my butt. They're not getting my property ever. If you know, it'll be over my dead body, because I'm going to sell it. But until I sell it, I'm probably just going to move it into a family trust. But I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have a family trust, but my will says all my assets go to my nieces and nephews and my goddaughter. So there you go. So even if I die, they're not going to get it. It's going to go to my nieces and nephews and my goddaughter. So here's Laura going and collecting birds. After this incident, we pretty much got every bird out of there except for the turkey we thought was a wild turkey. He's the only one we haven't been able to catch yet. There's that possum. But cats, cat butt, a raccoon. So raccoons could have got some of the birds. You know, I'm not ruling out that other predators were involved, but we now have eyewitnesses, 2 eyewitnesses, besides Laura, and we have pictures and video of the dog attacking the birds. We have 2 dead turkeys and a butt ton of dead guinea fowl. I don't think they got any of the chickens. The chickens are smart. I don't know. We haven't really noticed the chickens because we don't pay as much attention to the chickens. Laura loves her guinea fowl. She had like 75, give or take, guineas, and now she's down to like 25, 30. She lost like 2/3 of her guineas from these predators. And some of the predators, we already know, are the neighbors' dogs, and they don't want to do anything about it except threaten us because we want them to be accountable for their dogs. Well, they wanted us to be accountable for our goats, and we were, or my goats, I should say, and I was, you know, like I said before, they said it wasn't a problem. And then when they said it was a problem, I took accountability, I fixed the problem. Now that we're addressing the dog and saying, hey, we got pictures, we got evidence, we got proof, and we gave them part of the proof. Laura has the proof. I don't, so I can't send it to them, otherwise I would have. But Laura has the documentation. But we have it documented that their dog was attacking and trying to kill our birds, which leads you to believe that it had previously already done it because it was trying to do it right now, or this date, 12/20/25, which is basically 5 days ago because today's Christmas. Anyways, so these trail cams aren't really that effective. All right, let me go back. Now let me go back over here real quick. Let's see if the dogs came back the next day, because they said they took care of the dogs, but I doubt it, because they said they took care of the dog before when we had lost our baby lambs, and the neighbor had said that he had a dog that killed 2 of his goats, 2 of his baby goats. Okay, yeah, Laura went back over there and got some more birds, and he said he put the dog down, but yet we still had livestock coming up missing. And so it makes me believe that he lied about putting the dog down. But I don't know. Maybe he was telling the truth. I don't have any evidence. I don't have any proof. But yeah, Laura's all freaked out and paranoid now because of these guys' threats and bullying and harassing. And the other day, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. The other day, Laura was over there mending the fence because somebody tampered with it. We don't know exactly who. We believe we know who, but we don't have any proof, right? Because, okay, so the day after I had fixed the fence in the back, someone came and opened my gate, wide open. And it's like, I know the goats couldn't have done that, right? It had to have been a person. So after we had left, and I think I had just went back on the road, And Laura went over to the land, and the gate was wide open. And this was right after I had fixed the problem. Someone comes and opens my gate and creates or tries to create more problems, you know. And so then we turned around and put a lock and chain on it. Then we didn't have any trouble until after we caught the dog on the land trying to kill or already killed more of our fowl. Because like I said, we lost 2 turkeys, we lost some guineas. We don't know where they went. Well, we know where some of them went. But yeah. So after that happened, here it is. Laura, my brother. Oh wait, no, let's go back. Here it is. After that happened, my brother, the other day, yesterday morning actually. Yesterday morning, okay, rewinding again. A couple days ago, the north neighbor, who lives in that white house there, was screaming and hollering about the baby pig being on their property. Now, he sent a picture, or he posted it on Facebook, screaming and yelling about a baby pig being on his property. It's the end of the world! And so it took my brother and Laura a minute to get over there to get the pig. And so, because she can't drive the truck and trailer. She's a city girl learning how to be a country girl. She's always wanted to be a country girl. And now she kind of regrets it. But she's always wanted to be in the country. She came down 2 years ago and started learning how to be a country girl and basically trying to live her dream. And it's kind of turned into a nightmare. But and same for me. Pretty much I've been down here since 2012, and this is the 3rd time I've had somebody try and bully me out of my property. The guy that lived in that white house before this guy tried to bully me out of that property. He wasn't as aggressive about it though. He was more sneaky and more, I wouldn't call it PC, but he was more legit about it. He wasn't as mean. He didn't bully and harass me near as much. But he tried pushing me out too. And he had a dog coming over and killing my fowl also, and wouldn't do anything about it. He placated me and said he would, said he did, but he never did. Never. And it was like he wasn't bullying me directly. He was indirectly bullying me by allowing his dog to come over and kill my birds and refusing to do anything about it. And I wanted to kill those dogs, but I was never home enough to catch them. I caught them in the act, but they would run off. And I didn't have time to get my gun. I didn't have time to, do anything. And so I wanted to trap them and take them to the pound or something, or whatever, But I never did. I was never able to catch them. I was never able to have my gun ready in time to kill them when they were on my property killing my fowl. So I basically got rid of all my birds. And then that guy sold the property to the current owner. And I talked to him about his dogs. I said, do they kill birds? Oh, no, they're great with birds. So I was like, okay, cool. So I got more birds. And to be honest, I didn't have a problem with his dogs coming over and killing my birds. That I know of. We didn't have any problems until his friend moved in, which is my east neighbor. This guy's my north neighbor. I didn't have problems until his friend moved in to the east. Once his friend moved in, that's when I started having problems. So he is probably the biggest problem under the radar. And this guy is the biggest problem on the radar, if that makes sense. So it's like the other guy's being more sneaky. And then both might be narcissists. But the one to the east of me is more like a passive aggressive, and the one to the north of me is the more aggressive. He's like the flying monkey. So anytime I have problems with either one of them, it's the flying monkey that comes at me. However, the one to the east did threaten to sue me, but he wasn't as aggressive about the whole situation as the one to the north, the one I call the flying monkey. So, anyways, when they went over to get the pigs were all in their little barn. It's a pallet shed, really, but they were all in the pallet shed sleeping. So it was like, were they really on the property, or was that picture an old picture of them being on the property? We don't know. So Laura and my brother went over there. They hooked up the horse trailer. They loaded up the pigs. And my brother drove the truck back to Collins, and Laura followed him back in my brother's car. So while they were there, my brother caught the last remaining female turkey that didn't get killed. And they locked her up inside the chicken coop. So the next morning, my brother goes over there. Oh, before I go there. So then after he's yelling and screaming and cussing about them coming and getting the pig, then he's yelling, screaming, and cussing about them trespassing on his land to get the pig, when they never even went to his land in the first place, because the pigs were sleeping in the pallet shed in the hay. So he's a pathological liar, for one. But if he's lying about them trespassing, he was probably lying about the pig being on there in the first place. Now, the pig was probably there prior, a month or 2 months prior, who knows how long prior. There was no timestamp on the picture. So we don't know when the pig was there, but he does have a picture of the pig being there. We just don't know when. Anyways, but yells and screams and cusses at us to come get the pig. And then when we come get the pig, even though we never even went to his property, or my brother and my girlfriend never went to his property, he yells and screams and cusses that they trespassed on his property. It's like, dude, what are you smoking? You know, this guy's fucked up in the head. But anyways, so my brother goes the next morning to get the turkey, to take the turkey to Collins, because he's also going to Kansas City. And so he takes the baby pig that wrecked the neighbor's life that night, apparently, or supposedly, I should say. It's funny, I says, I'm sorry the baby pig wrecked your life. Hopefully it didn't kill any of your livestock. He raises cattle. You know, it's like my animals are not even a threat to him. But he wants to raise a holy hissy fit because I want to address the fact that his friend's dog is coming over and killing our livestock. And they're acting like I'm acting like that his dogs are the sole problem. And I did not say, and I have it in writing, I did not say that they were the sole problem. I said they are one of the problem. They are one of the predators. Because I don't know how many predators there are. Of course, my neighbors obviously are predators too. But anyways, So my brother goes over the next morning. Laura sees that the goats are out and she's flipping out. And she's calling us and texting us because she's in Collins. She sees the goats are out on the camera, on the trail cam, the driveway trail cam. And so my brother checks it out, and you can't see it from the camera, but someone came over and unattached that panel. That's Bucky right there in the picture. So the panel behind Bucky that's attached to that post there on the left, or was attached, someone came over and unattached it. And how they were able to do it without getting picked up on the camera, I don't know. Maybe they came over at night. Maybe they were dressed in black. I'm not sure. But I had the cattle panel or goat panel because I ran out of goat panels. Hang on, Laura's about to call me. She's calling me on my other phone. And I don't want to have to edit this video, so I'm going to pause it real quick. Hang on. Okay. I probably should have left the thing recording because we actually had a good conversation that was very relevant. The only bad part was she named some names, and I'm trying not to name names right now. But anyhow, you know, she basically came down from Kansas City. She wanted to have a farm. She wanted to do all this stuff. She had a house in Kansas City, and she had a crazy psycho neighbor who wanted to start a junkyard next door, and he did all kinds of crazy stuff. They tried reporting him to the government, and the government didn't do crap about it. Her and the neighbors basically tried to report this guy and have the government do something about it because he was doing illegal activity on the land next door. And so the government didn't want to do anything about it. They just ignored the community. So Laura's like, forget this, I'm getting out of here. So she sold her house. She came to the country and to pursue her dream of having land and livestock. So we got back together because we dated in high school, or just out of high school, and then we broke up. We got back together. She came out here, and we basically pursued our dreams together because we basically had parallel dreams. And then I ended up getting a psycho neighbor, or two psycho neighbors, and now I'm the one having to vacate my property because of the problems. And I mean, I think the government is listening, but there's only so much they can do without the proper proof and evidence. So we're just having too many problems. And luckily we have a place to go to. We have the other property we just closed on. So we have a place that we can retreat to, if you will, and regroup. And I don't need this property. But the way I was trying to set things up is, you know, now that we got Collins, Laura can do her animals over there. She can do what she wants over there. She's not stepping on my toes. And I already had my property, so I can, and I already had a lot of things already set up. I was, you know, being successful, maybe not 100% successful, not as successful as I would like to be, but I was on the way. And I was making strides, I was making progress, and I allowed her to use my coop and my chicken yard. She didn't treat it as well as I would like and kind of stepped on my toes a little bit. But now she has her own coop and she has her own fowl yard to be responsible for. And now I can be responsible for my own, or so I thought. So I was planning on keeping my animals here while she had her animals over there. But little did I understand that the neighbors wanted my property just as bad as I do. And and they're willing to cause me problems to try to get my property. So I'm not there full time to deal with it. So it's like they wait till I'm gone, and they know I can't do anything about it, to create the havoc. And then my girlfriend has to deal with it, and she can't handle stress. And then my brother has to deal with it, and it's not his problem. And I'm stuck out here on the road, and I can't deal with it. And so it's very frustrating. So anyways, and now she called because she feels bad that she was able to get her dream, that I helped her achieve her dream, and now my dream is falling apart. And sorry, I almost started to cry. It's hard. It's really hard. But it is what it is. I mean, there's two types of people in this world. There's prey and there's predators. And I know I'm not a predator. And I've been dealing with predators my whole life. In fact, my brother was a predator growing up. He's now reforming. He's been reforming. He's been cleaning up his life and getting his act together. And now he's got my back. Where before, he was always at my throat. But I had to deal with him growing up. He tried to kill me a few times, several times. Literally tried to murder me. And I had to defend myself. I've had other predators, you know. I've always been the prey. But I had to learn how to have a good offense, and I've survived all these years. I'm not the kind of prey to run away. I'm the kind of prey to stand in my ground and protect what is mine. But I can only do so much. And you know, it's like Laura said the other day, or posted a post the other day about know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. She's more the running type. My brother's more the fighting type. But I'm somewhere in the middle. And I held my ground as best I could, but I don't know. I just can't stand my ground. Enough. I don't have enough defense. Their offense is overwhelming my defense, if that makes sense. So I have no choice. I have to walk away. I mean, I do have a choice, but I'm afraid that it's going to cost me more, and more of my animals' lives, if I don't walk away. So, for the sake of Laura's sanity, my peace, and my animals' lives, I'm packing up. I'm liquidating. I'm walking away. But anyways, back to what I was saying, and I'm going to try to close this out because I'm already over an hour recording. So my brother was here collecting the turkey. There he is with turkey in arm. Our last remaining female turkey that the dogs didn't kill. So Laura said something about the goats being out. So my brother went to investigate the fence line, and they discovered right here that someone had tampered with the fence. That cattle panel or goat panel that I have there, I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it is a cattle or goat panel. That one hit there that Garrett is standing behind is obviously a goat panel, but the other one I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a goat panel. I just know I ran out of goat panels and I had to put a cattle panel in there somewhere. But anyhow, I had attached it to that hedge post with those heavy duty U-nails. I call them U-nails. The technical term is staples, but I think of a staple as the kind in a staple gun, where these are nails that you hammer in with a hammer. So I call them U-nails because they're shaped like a U, but they're officially called a staple. And these are heavy duty staples that I hammered the goat panel to the hedge post, and someone came and took them out, and I don't know who it was because the camera didn't pick them up. This camera's not 100%. It does get things, but it doesn't get everything, unfortunately, which is why I'm going to the Wyze cameras. The Wyze cameras are a lot better. I don't really have to worry about them on the land so much because I'm liquidating. I'm getting everything out of there before they steal and kill everything, you know. Kill my livestock, steal my livestock, steal other things. The other night they called the sheriff the same night, I believe, that they or someone else had took those nails out of the hedge post and opened that cattle panel or that goat panel so the goats can get out. That same night they called our other neighbor, my neighbor to the south, and they called the sheriff and said, oh, somebody's snooping around in the woods back there. And what Laura thinks is they were deflecting and trying to get, you know, it's like it was a distraction. Look over here while we're doing this over here. So you're not paying attention to us. We're going to say something else is going on over here. So you're paying attention to that and not what we're doing. And so this is my theory. I don't have any proof. But my theory is that they unattached that to get my goats to go out. So that they can say that I'm the problem again. Now, after we started having problems with this north and south neighbor, Laura started doing some homework because she's a skip tracer, and she looked into their past and she found that this guy went to jail for cattle theft, and then somehow he was able to get the charges dropped and he got released. And then he countersued the person who originally pressed charges against him for slander and defamation of character. So Laura hasn't talked to them or their attorney or anything like that. She's just doing homework online, looking at the case. And basically, from what she can see from the case, the cattle theft case, he basically did to that lady what he's doing to us. So that's his MO. So he got ran out of Mount Vernon. Now he's up here an hour north doing the same thing to us as he did to his neighbors in Mount Vernon or that area. I forgot the name of the county now. But anyways, it's not Vernon County because that's Nevada. I can't remember the name of the county. I got it documented. Laura's doing the homework. She is an excellent PI person. She should be a PI, but she is, when it comes to skip tracing, she is a natural. So she's gonna dig up all the dirt on these guys, all of it. And I'm basically really good at documenting evidence, and so I'm documenting all the evidence. But anyhow, someone, and we believe it to be them, unattached the goat panel from the hedge post And we believe it to be the same night, because we didn't have any trouble before this. The same night that they said that there was supposedly trespassers in the woods on my south neighbors and my property. Now, they didn't contact me because we've already told them to put everything in writing, and everything, basically we've already told them to talk to our attorney. So they're no longer talking to us for now. After I told them that from now on everything needs to be in writing, then they started blowing up my phone, calling me. Well, this guy did anyways. Started blowing up my phone, calling me, yelling at me, harassing me. So I just quit taking his phone calls. And he just kept blowing me up. And I just wouldn't answer the phone because I told him, put everything in writing. So 2 days later, after he blows my phone up for 2 days trying to call me and I won't answer, I was like, talk to my attorney. Take this matter up with my attorney. Because he says he's got proof that my goats did all this damage that he never addressed before, and now it's a problem 2 months later because we want them to be accountable for their dogs killing our birds. Now he wants me to pay for damages that may or may not have ever happened. And he says he sent me evidence and proof or whatever before, but he never did. And I kind of sort of have proof that he never did. I mean, I've got text. I got a program, because when we was going through this deal with the Collins property, I put an app on my phone that will document all of my text messages, convert everything to PDF. So I've got all that stuff on my phone. I've got I got everything he's ever sent me and everything I've ever sent him on PDF on my phone. Because I went and basically backed it all up and sent it to the sheriff and sent it to my lawyer. So I've got it all in writing. I've documented everything. Laura's good at digging up doing the research, and I'm really good at documenting it. But anyhow, so this was the 24th. So the night, we believe, the night of the 23rd, which is 2 days after the pig incident. So I think the pig incident happened on the 22nd. So then on the 23rd, we believe they unattached my goat panel from the hedge post and then deflected or distracted us from that, saying we saw people in the woods, or maybe trying to make it look like the people, the invisible, the pretend people in the woods was the one who potentially did this when we discovered it. Like, oh, we didn't do it. These weirdos in the woods that we reported did it. We're good neighbors. Right. So anyways, Michael, my south neighbor, was out there for 3 hours, and so was the cops, but the cops weren't there as long as my south neighbor was. But my south neighbor, he was out there for hours looking for these so-called people in the woods that didn't exist. And nobody could find nobody because there was nobody. It was these guys. But anyhow, they're messing with my south neighbor too because they want his property as well. And they begged me not to sell to him because they don't like him either. And so he's had some problems with them, but not as many problems as I have. And then from what I understand, the neighbor to the east of them is also having problems with them. So we're not the only ones. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. But in the meantime, I got a CYOA. I got to protect my assets. I got to protect my animals. So I got to get them out of there. And yeah. Anyways, but these cameras, they don't do as good as the Wyze cameras because it didn't pick them up. And the next day, so my brother and my nephew, they discovered that the fence was unattached over there, the cattle panels, the goat panels, and they fixed it. They jerry-rigged it, but they fixed it. So the next day, my girlfriend went over there. Okay, this is when my brother went to pick up the pigs. He took one of the pigs to the new neighbor around the corner, and he took the other pig to Kansas City because he was going to Kansas City anyway. So instead of driving his car up there, he drove my truck up there, delivered the other pig, and he should be on his way back from Kansas City right now. So Laura went over there with Mark. Basically told her what to do, got her the wire, got her the fencing tool. She doesn't know what to do. This is more things that I do, but Laura doesn't have any experience with this. She should. She wants to be a country girl, but she don't have any. This is her, I think this is her first real experience doing this. But she went over and she mended the fence there with wire. Now, she didn't do it the way I would have done it, but she did it enough to show that it's been fixed and it's enough to where the goats can't get it open again. However, if somebody goes and tampers with it again, then it's obviously not the goats. I mean, we already know it's not the goats. And she took pictures of where the U-nails were in the T-post. I keep wanting to say T-post. In the hedge post, she took pictures of where the U-nails were, but she looked around for the U-nails and they were not to be seen. So they took the evidence with them. Or they threw them into the bush. I don't know. But they're gone. And, you know, if it was just trespassers, they would have left them right there on the ground, probably. But these guys, they took the evidence with them. Tried to make it look like it was never attached. But there's holes in the hedge post where the U-nails were. And Laura took pictures of that. She also took pictures of her mending the fence. And we sent all the documentation to the police. Now, they ain't going to do anything about it, but they got the evidence. And our attorney. She sent all the information and did a police report via email. She sent it to the sheriff, and she sent it to our lawyer. So, they've got all the documentation. So, and I also sent them something prior. So, I sent them the documentation of the situation that when my brother discovered it, and then Laura sent them the documentation of her fixing the problem. And if it happens again, then we have evidence that there's definitely tampering, because it'll be the second time it happens. So my point is, with the camera, she was there for a good hour, maybe longer, I don't know. It only took her picture once. It didn't take her picture near as many times as it did my brother and my nephew. And she was over there fixing the fence. Of course, so was my brother and my nephew, but it didn't even show everything they were there doing. Hang on. Showed them here once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. You know, and it only showed her there once. So these trail cams, or this trail cam, is not as efficient as the Wyze cameras. So I thought about putting in a power pole over there and setting up some Wyze cameras and some internet over there. But what's the point? You know, I mean, it's going to cost me $2,000 to bring in a power pole. and then probably another $1,000 to set up the security system. I already have the power box to put on the pole, but then I got to pay the electrician to do the installation. So it'll probably cost me, I don't know, somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 just to put security over there. And it's like, I just don't know. It's not. I don't know if it's even worth it. I ain't got that kind of money. We're still trying to get this mobile home out of foreclosure, and I'll have to cash out my dividend stocks to pay for this. And I've already cashed out some of my dividend stocks to put towards getting the mobile home out of foreclosure. And now I just ended up spending another $2,000 on GPS shock collars for the few sheep and goats that I plan on keeping at Collins, if maybe they might obey those shock collars. I don't even know if they will. I might end up having to take them to auction too, because we don't have fencing over at Collins. Well, there is some field fence there, but it's all dilapidated, and there's barbed wire, but the people did a half-assed job with that too. I mean, the people there were just worthless. And so anyways, it's not efficient for sheep and goats. So I'm gonna try these dog invisible fence GPS shock collars on the sheep and goats and see if they work. If not, I'll sell them, get some of my money back. Laura's willing to buy some of them off of me, but I bought two different kind. I bought 2 halo collars because they only keep a charge for 2, maybe 3 days tops. So she's gonna have to charge one while they're wearing one, if that makes sense. And so I bought 2 halo collars for the sheep, but I'm only keeping 2 sheep. So I'm gonna put the halo collar on the one sheep, and the other sheep will stay with the other one because they're pack animals, so they'll stay together. All I need to do is have the shock collars on over half of the herd. So I'll put the halo collar on the one sheep that's friendly, that Laura can handle. We'll put the shock collar on her. When the battery gets low, she'll swap them out, put the other one on the charger. And then the goats, I found a cheaper collar that is recommended. Google recommended them, not Google, but Google AI, because they had the longest battery life. I was Googling which one has the longest battery life, and Halo and this other one had the longer battery life. They both last about 2 to 3 days. And I don't want her out there having to change the collar every day. So I don't want to put any stress. I want to put less stress on her. So, and we have like 3 goats that we're going to keep 5, only because 2 are old. But we're going to keep 3 for breeding. And those 3 will allow Laura to handle them, the buck and 2 females. They're the only ones that Laura can handle. And the other 2 won't let her handle them, but they'll stay with the other 3. And the other 2 are old, almost 10 years old. So they're not going to be around much longer. So I bought 6 collars for them. And if they work good for the goats, Laura might buy my halo collars off of me for the other dog, and then I'll use those other collars for the sheep and the goats. Because like I said, I'm only going to have 3 goats and 2 sheep, and maybe 3 sheep in the future. But right now I'm just going to stick to 2, because I only have 1 that will let her put a collar on it. The other females won't even let you get close to them. Shaggy might warm up to us, but right now she's kind of standoffish too because she's been sick, and I've had to medicate her and treat her for parasites. She's not very parasite resistant, and so it's not a good idea to keep her anyways because she's not hardy. Where Ginger's hardy, so I'm gonna keep her, and she's friendly. She'll let us put a collar on her, or she'll let Laura change out the shot collar. And then we got Becky, and then we have Faith, and then we have Bucky. And Bucky's like my prized buck. He's like the best buck ever. And I hate to get rid of him, you know. But if they don't obey their shot collars, then I'm not gonna have a choice. I'll have to get rid of them. So, anyways, I guess that's it. It was originally going to be a video about the cameras, but it turned into more of an extensive video. So I'm probably going to call it a documenting evidence video, because that's more or less what it turned out to be. But there's the goats. So next Friday, I'm going to be taking a third of the goats to auction. Let's see, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, that's about right. I'm going to take a third of the goats to auction. And then next month, I'm going to be butchering a third. And then, Alright, sorry, my brother called. I don't think I have to worry about editing his number out because he don't give a crap. But and him and I are going to be doing a new adventure maybe here shortly. Maybe it's his idea, it's going to be his baby, and I'm just going to be helping him with it. So his number is going to be out there soon anyway, so he won't care. And I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So I'll be home Friday. Not this Friday, because this Friday is tomorrow and I'm in Ohio. But I'll be home next Friday to take the goats, a third of the goats, to auction. And that weekend, which is next weekend, I'll also be taking the 2 sheep that I'm going to keep to Collins and start getting them acclimated to Collins and their shot collars and seeing if they're going to obey their collars or not. And then the following month, I'm going to be taking the goats that I want to butcher to the butcher, and I wasn't going to butcher Pete. I was going to keep him to help protect the herd, but now, what's the point? And he's almost a year old. He's the perfect age for butchering. Well, the perfect age would be probably in another, well, I don't know. He was born in March, and I'm going to be butchering him in February, so it's probably the perfect time. So, you know, we'll have lamb next year. We'll have goat meat, and we'll have lamb meat. And it'll be the last year that we have enough to share with, you know, friends and family and whatnot. After this, I'm just going to be producing enough for us, just enough for family. I might maybe have a little bit of overstock, and then I'll give that away to friends. But, you know, I have meatmilkgoats.com, and unless things change, I think I'm done. I hate to say it, but I'm done. I mean, I tried. I just can't do it anymore. So I just don't know what to do anymore about that. I'm just gonna keep a couple few sheep and a couple few goats, produce food for the family, and I'm gonna go in a different direction. Like I said, my brother has a business plan that he wants to do, And I'm just tired. I'm ready to retire. So that's going to be his baby. He actually came to Stockton to help me, you know, to build an empire with me. And well, and his friend Mike, because they also had a side hustle, another business that they wanted to do, a mushroom business. I can't remember the proper word. Gourmet mushrooms. They wanted to do a gourmet mushroom business, but it just never panned out. My brother over-invested in this property, in this project, and nothing ever happened. And I over-invested basically in my project, and it's not been a total loss, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it's done. It's over. The dream, whatever. I mean, I had some days in the spotlight or the limelight or the sunshine or whatever you want to call it. But it's done. It's over. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. The juice ain't worth the squeeze, as Laura would sing. So, yeah. My brother's got this big idea. It's supposed to be good money, and it's low maintenance, low liability. Me, personally, I'm just ready to just sell everything, put all my money in dividend stocks, and disappear. But my brother, you know, he came down to be with me, to help me build my dream. And him and his friend were going to build their dream side by side. We were going to do all this stuff together, and it just didn't work out. It didn't happen. So I'm just going to liquidate everything and help my brother with, you know, his dream, I guess. My brother, I used to be a hustler, but not so much anymore. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. But my brother still is, you know. It's like, it's funny. I got to keep moving this around or it'll time out on me. My brother used to be the bad boy and always in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And I was always the responsible one, keeping my nose to the grindstone and trying to be successful and trying to do all these things. And now I'm tired. I'm ready. I'm burned out. I'm ready to just retire. I'm just ready to quit. But now my brother has cleaned up his act, and now he's doing better and trying to build an empire or something. And my kids, I don't even know my kids. My kids were always kept away from me, and you know, the mothers didn't. I was a little bit of a bad boy, but not as bad as my brother. But you know, the moms just they wouldn't let me have anything to do with my kids, and it was a constant battle, and they pretty much won. And now my kids don't want anything to do with me. My youngest did for a while, but then he outed this lesbian girl that he went to school with on Facebook, and everybody wanted to beat him up. So he came to me for advice and protection or something, and I told him that he was in the wrong. I wasn't going to beat him up or anything like the other people wanted to do, but I mean, I tried not to browbeat him or anything like that, but I told him, I said, dude, you know, you're in the wrong. He goes, well, it's a blasphemy to God. And I'm like, well, it may be, but this is a free country. And if you want the right to do and believe the way you want, you need to allow others the freedom and the right to do and believe the way they want. As long as they're not causing harm to anyone, then who cares what they do? But see, you know, yeah, he had the freedom to say and do and be whatever he wanted to do, but he started causing harm when he was infringing on her rights, and that's why I told him he was wrong. And then he quit talking to me. So I don't have a relationship with my kids. My brother wants to build this empire. He wants to do generational wealth, and I kind of do too. But I don't really have anyone to pass my legacy on to except my nieces and nephews. So I'm going to help my brother build his empire so that he can pass that on to his children. And I'll just help him. And I'll just put my money in dividend stocks. And my money, my whatever I have will end up going to my nieces and nephews and my goddaughter. Maybe my kids too if they come back into my life. And my stepdaughters, I would like to maybe give them something, but they don't talk to me anymore either. I lost them as well. But they were more like my kids than my own kids. But then their mom cheated on me and left and smeared my name, put me on a smear campaign. And so they don't talk to me, the kids, but they're not even my kids, you know? So it's like I don't have no rights to them. So, I mean, I'd like to have a relationship with them. I'd like to maybe, you know, leave something to them, but they probably don't care. So I'll just leave it to my nieces and nephews. I'll just help my brother build his legacy and empire or whatever and pass it down to my nieces and nephews. And then I'll pass whatever I have to them and my goddaughter, who's my only other closest thing that I have to a child. So she didn't have a dad growing up. I was pretty much the closest thing to a dad to her growing up. So anyways, I'm gonna close this out. But yeah, I'm pretty much done. Yeah. So it's gonna be my brother's legacy now. Whatever my brother wants to do. I'll help my girlfriend with the Collins property. It's gonna be pretty much all her animals. I'm just gonna have a few sheep and goats to raise food for us. But everything else is gonna be hers. You know, I'm done. I'm done. Can't do it anymore. And just like I said, I'm gonna help my girlfriend live her best life with her dream, because part of her dream is, or part of my dream is her dream too. And I'll go this other direction. I wanted to do some real estate, and this is real estate, but it's a different kind of real estate, lower maintenance, lower liability. My brother wants to do it hardcore, so I'm like, all right, fine, let's do it. Fuck it. You know? out with the old, in with the new. So, my brother and I grew up in the military, so we're kind of used to change. We're able to accept change better than some other people, because, you know, we grew up changing all the time. We was moving every few years, uprooting and changing our lives. So I thought I was gonna be here and I was gonna be doing this the rest of my life, but I guess I'm not. So anyways, I guess I'll label this as documenting evidence. But originally I was going to show you about the cameras and how good they are. Wyze cameras are obviously the best out of these three. But you got to make sure you have an internet, a source of power and a source of internet. So, anyways, all right, party on. Wow, 2 hours.